Shalom. This is Kwana Ya'ala from the AOI camp, Angels of Yahweh, in the Chicago area. And this is Ecclesiasticus 17 and verse 17, or Sirach 17 and 17. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion. Now I'm going to bring this out in the REB Bible translation as well. Now, this is in the REB, the Revised English Bible, with the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus 17 and 17. For every nation he appointed a ruler, but Israel is the Lord's portion. Right? And continuing on to verse... Well, okay, we could leave it at that, right? But he set a ruler over every people, right? So, for example, right, let's search up what is the main religion of Arabs. The dominant religion in the Arab world is Islam, with the majority of Arabs identifying as Muslim. Okay? What are the majority religion of Indians? The dominant religion in India is Hinduism, with approximately 79.8% of the population following it. Right? What is the main religion of China? While China is officially an atheist state, Buddhism is the most prevalent religion with the largest number of followers. Right? What is the main religion of Japan? Shintoism. According to the annual statistic research on religion in 2015 by the Agency for Cultural Affairs, Government of Japan, followers of Shintoism make up 70.4% of the total population. Followers of Buddhism make up 69.8%. Right, so it's basically a Buddhist spinoff, right? And let's think of a prime example of Esau, right? What is the main religion of Russia? Let's do Russia. Well, actually, let's do Rome. Rome, or the Vatican, right? Or Italy. Let's do Italy, right? The main religion, because the Vatican City is in Italy, right? It says the main religion in Italy is Christianity, specifically the Catholic Church, with a significant portion of the population identifying as Catholic. In 2021, approximately 79.2% of the Italian population identified as Catholic, right? So all these people have their rulers. The Esau got their Pope. They got Pope Francis, right? Which is actually a wicked Israelite, right? If he even is one. He's from Argentina. So he could be of indigenous descent, but more than likely he could be of Spanish descent, right? And Buddhists, they got they got the Dalai Lama, right? Dalai Lama. They got this guy, right? The 14th Dalai Lama is the incumbent Dalai Lama, the highest spiritual leader and head of Tibetan Buddhism. The the um the Catholic Church, right? Catholic Church leader. The current leader of the Catholic Church is Pope Francis. The Bartholomew. So they got their own Coptic Orthodox. They got their own leader, right? And there's actually a picture of the Pope kissing his feet. Right? So the Pope, they got the Pope looking crazy. These Hamites got the Pope looking crazy, right? And let's see, the Muslims, they got sheiks or sheikhs. Leading sheikh in Mecca. Right? So they got this guy, the leading sheikh in Mecca, is specifically serving as the chief imam of the Grand Mosque. It is Sheikh Abdul Rahman Al Sadus. Right? So they got this guy. Now, who do we have? Let's search up and let's pull that up in Daniel 7, right? Verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. Right? And let's get this. If you have seen me, right? John 14 verse 9. Yahushua saith unto him, have I been so long with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that has seen me has seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, show us the Father? Right? And we know per Revelation 1 and verse 15 or 14 that Yahushua is described the same way as the Father is described in Daniel 7 and verse 9, right? So we just went over all those so-called religious leaders, right? They all have their own so-called prophets, but we have the only true and living names, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, right? Let's get this. Right? This is 2 Chronicles 13 and verse 12. And behold, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, himself is with us for our captain, and his priests with sounding trumpets to cry alarm against you. O children of Israel, fight ye not against the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai of your fathers, for ye shall not prosper. So, like we said, the Buddhists got the Dalai Lama, or Buddha, the The Japanese, they got Shintoism. The Indians, they got Hinduism. The Arabs, they got Islam. The Esau, they got the the patriarchs, so-called patriarchs in the Orthodox Church, and the Pope in the Vatican City. But we have our captain Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? And he's appointed. Let's get that. This is Ephesians 4 and verse 11. And he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers, right? So the order, right? Like it says in 1 Corinthians 11, right? Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Yahushai. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them unto you. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Yahushai, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahushai is Yahweh, right? So we have Yahweh at the top. We have Yahushai second in command. Yahushai is above man. Like I said in the previous video, he's the viceroy in place of Yahweh until judgment day comes, right? And then man, that's teachers, apostles, prophets, right? And then at the bottom is women, right? So that's the order. That's our structure. That's the Hebrew Israelite structure. Right? Now the Arabs, the Buddhists, they could have whatever structure they want, right? Cuz that's their culture. But this is our culture, right? So hopefully this lesson has been edifying. And actually I'm gonna pull this one too, right? Cuz it did relate to what I said in Sirach 17 and 17, right? We could get it in the Good News translation. Right? This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 13 and verse 15. Every creature prefers its own kind, and people are no different. Just as animals of the same species flock together, so people keep company with people like themselves. A sinner has no more in common with a devout person than a wolf has with a lamb. Rich people have no more in common with poor people than hyenas have with dogs, right? So a Muslim does not have anything in common with a Buddhist. A Buddhist does not have anything in common with a Christian. Christian doesn't have a Protestant Christian doesn't have anything in common with Orthodox Christian, right? And we Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, we don't have anything in common with any of those people because we're a holy, peculiar nation, set apart nation, right? Let's get that. Let's get that. Might be the last one. Peculiar. Let's try to get that in the KJV. Right? And this is 1 Peter 2 and verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Right? and there's others. I'm going to read this, right? And it says, Exodus 19:5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. So above Hindus, above Buddhists, above Christians, above Muslims. For all the earth is mine. Right? Deuteronomy 14 verse 2. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all nations that are upon the face of the earth. So you can't get away from this, right? Everywhere in the scripture it says we're above all these people, right? They have their culture, we have our culture, but our culture is superior to their culture, right? There could be Buddha, there could be Indian supremacists, there could be white supremacists, there could be Asian supremacists, but they don't have anything to base their understanding on. We base our understanding on the Bible and genealogy and genetics. That's what we base our foundation on, right? On the Bible, right? And the other nations called Yahweh Shem Yahushai Al-Ashaja, which means great and terrible, like demon, like God, because he was sending down thunder, right? And let me get that. That's in Josephus, right? Let me see if I can find it. Right. Right. So this is page 29 in Jewish Antiquities, book 5, and it says page 58 through 62. And I'm gonna read like halfway down. It says Joshua with his whole army sped to their assistance, and marching all day and night at early dawn fell upon the foe, routed them, and followed in pursuit down the slopes of the region called Beth Hora. There too he was given to know of Yahweh's cooperation, manifested by thunderclaps, the discharge of thunderbolts, and the descent of hail of more than ordinary magnitude. Right? And moreover it befell that the day was prolonged to the end that the night should not overtake them and check the Hebrews' ardor, insomuch that Joshua both captured the kings who were hiding in a cave at Makkedah and punished all their host. That length of the day was increased on that occasion and surpassed the customary measure is attested by the scriptures that are laid up in the temple, right? So, but like Josephus just said in that quote, there were the Israelites were accompanied by Yahweh's thunderbolts, his hail, his he stopped the sun in the middle of the sky, right, for the whole day. And the Israelites weren't the only ones that saw this. The other nations were affected by this, which is why they called him Alashaja, the great and terrible demon like God, right? Because he was putting punishment on them. He was putting, he was basically destroying them, right? And let me get this definition for peculiar, and I'm gonna give one last precept, right? Peculiar, right? And the first one is what a lot of people commonly use it for, but that's not what it means. It says strange or odd, unusual. And even today, wait, because Salakia, that was wrong. Even today, we could apply that, right? The second definition is the main one, but even today, we could apply that. Many of God's, Salakia, not God, Yahweh's chosen elect, Yahweh by some Yahweh's chosen elect, are odd, right? We don't fit in with this world, right? When we see these jakes in this world doing worldly things, right? It bugs us. It annoys us, right? We hate it because we're not on the same wavelength, right? Just like Yahweh Shai said, ye are from below and I'm from above, right? And we're spiritually, we're from above with Yahweh Shai. But these other 2/3 jakes, they're below, right? And the second definition, particular, special, right? I'm going to read the example. Any attempt to explicate the theme is bound to run into peculiar difficulties, special difficulties, right? Peculiar to, predicative, belonging exclusively to, right? The air hung with an antiseptic aroma peculiar to hospitals. You only smell that smell in hospitals, right? These people only have one God, Yahweh. These people only belong to one God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? And this is how we know that Yahweh is the true and living God that other nations will refer to as Alashaja, right? Psalm 9 and 16. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Haggayon Salah, right? And that's another precept in Sirach, right? I'm gonna just search this one up, right? Sirach 600,000. Right? Let's see if we could get it. Sirach 16. Right? He was not pacified toward the old giants who fell away in the strength of their foolishness. Right? And we just covered that in our previous camp, the old giants. That's talking about the South Sudanese people, where like they're born like 7 feet tall, right? Verse 8, neither spared he the place where Lot sojourned, but abhorred them for their pride, right? So he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. He pitied not the people of perdition who were taken away in their sins, nor the 600,000 footmen who were gathered together in the hardness of their hearts, right? So the 600,000 footmen, that's talking about the Israelites in the wilderness. The Lord made sure all of them died before Israel got to go into the chosen land, right? And he also wiped out the 100, it's either 160 or 180,000 people in the Assyrian camp with the angel of the Lord. Passed through the Assyrian camp and killed all of them. 160,000 people. Y'all think there's serial killers out here? Boy, they're nothing compared to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? So, in the end, we know our culture. We know who our God is. Right? Our culture is above anybody else's culture. And this, the way that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai executes judgment on other cultures shows how our culture is the true culture and religion, right? It's an infallible proof. So with that, I'm going to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Shalom until the next video. Shalom.